Institutes of the Christian Religion by John Calvin. Book 1, chapter 3, section 2. Religion is no arbitrary invention. Therefore, it is utterly vain for some men to say that religion was invented by the subtlety and craft of a few to hold the simple folk in thrall by this device, and that those very persons who originated the worship of God, for others did not in the least believe that any God existed. I confess, indeed, that in order to hold men's minds in greater subjection, clever men have devised very many things in religion by which to inspire the common folk with reverence and to strike them with terror. But they would never have achieved this if men's minds had not already been imbued with a firm conviction about God, from which the inclination towards religion springs as from a seed. And indeed, it is not credible that those who craftily imposed upon the ruder folk under pretense of religion were entirely devoid of the knowledge of God. If indeed there were some in the past, and today not a few appear, who deny that God exists, yet willy-nilly they from time to time feel an inkling of what they desire not to believe. One reads of no one who bursts forth into bolder or more unbridled contempt of deity than Gaius Caligula, yet no one trembled more miserably when any sign of God's wrath manifested itself. Thus, albeit unwillingly, he shuddered at the God whom he professedly sought to despise. You may see now and again how this also happens to those like him, he who is the boldest despiser of God is of all men the most startled at the rustling of a falling leaf. Whence does this arise but from the vengeance of divine majesty, which strikes their conscience all the more violently the more they try to flee from it? Indeed, they seek out every subterfuge to hide themselves from the Lord's presence and to efface it again from their minds. But in spite of themselves, they are always entrapped. Although it may sometimes seem to vanish for a moment, it returns at once and rushes in with a new force. If for these there is any respite from anxiety of conscience, it is not much different from the sleep of drunken or frenzied persons who do not rest peacefully even while sleeping because they are continually troubled with dire and dreadful dreams. The impious themselves therefore exemplify the fact that some conception of God is ever alive in all men's minds.